President Trump was saying that the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever, and talked about ushering in a golden age for America. From the economy standpoint, from the pronouncements so far and today, are we looking at a golden age?
Well, I think it's a little early. It's never too early for a president to proclaim that. But from the perspective of an economist or anybody who's just taking a rational look at the dollar, at the economy as it is, I think that's a bit of a heroic assumption. I think we have to wait a few years to see which way things go before we get there. I mean, he did talk a lot about sentiment, and it's true sentiment popped up a lot both by small business and consumers after his election. But more recently, sentiment has slid back. So I think he's as we say, he's cherry picking the data to make his point. But he's not the first president to do that. So let's not hang him out to dry too much for doing something like that, because they're all guilty of doing the same thing.
Indeed. Politicians have a bit of a habit of doing that, don't they, Stephen? What do you think is going to be the inflationary impact of his policies? There was a lot of talk during this speech about reducing inflation, improving the cost of living, and yet a recent Ipsos Reuters poll showed that only 1 in 3 Americans approve of Trump's handling of the cost of living.
Well, I think they're going to be. I think that's going to work against them as the year goes on. I mean, assuming that the economy doesn't slip into recession, and that's not my base case. I don't think it will. If you look at the sum total of everything he wants to do, which is basically, there's going to be tariffs. They view 20% tariffs as being something that gets absorbed between FX and margins, that doesn't really reach the consumer, but it helps fund the deficit, and that helps fund the budget, and that's the main point of the exercise, really, beyond the publicity. But if you look at the sum of the spending he wants to put in, the tax cuts he wants to put in an economy that has, a little over 4% unemployment, and take labor out of the economy, especially low-wage labor out of the economy, you're going to, through these deportations, the sum total of everything he wants to do is inflationary, not deflationary. I know the market right now is thinking differently. You see that the 10-year is down to 4.25% from almost 5%, because they're looking at the tariffs and they're looking at some of these other disruptions and potential war, and they're saying, well, trade war that is, and they're concerned about growth. And we've had a soft January. We'll probably have not quite a soft February, but February is not going to be gangbusters. But a lot of that is tied to one-offs with a very bad winter. I don't think you take January and February, in particular, January and February in this country, and then forecast that out to make that a 12-month number. I think that's a little, that's wrong as well. So I think the economy is going to grow, and I think we'll have 3% inflation at the end of the year. I don't think the Fed's going to cut it all. And I think that this budget's going to come in the early years bigger than what people had thought in terms of the deficit, and that's going to be a problem.